94 Rocks the Dark. Jay-Z hanging out here and on the phone right now. I'm talking to somebody that I haven't talked to in almost 8 years, and she is the lead singer of the band Stitched Up Heart. On the phone tonight, I have Mixi. And first of all, Mixi, it has been way too long since the last time we talked. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. I think we need to make it more of a habit. Maybe we just have weekly hangouts.
Well, we'll have to. We might have to do that. Exactly. I'm very interested to kind of find out how your career has gone since the last time we talked. The last time we talked was November of 2015. You guys were just going out on a tour with Like a Storm, and you guys had not even put out your first album yet. Do you remember that time?
I remember it like it was yesterday. Yes.
Well,
that was a really fun tour, and that was when Finally Free, I think, was hitting the airwaves, and it just took on a whole life of its own. We were not expecting.
And that's kind of the start, really, for you. I mean, I know obviously the lead up to that, but Finally Free was your first song that really, I think, started to put the name Stitched Up Heart on the radar for rock radio stations. I guess you'd have to agree with that, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody was expecting it to do as well as it did, and we hadn't even finished the album at that point when we released that song. We were just promoting it for the tour, and we were like, we got to get this thing out. So, yeah, it just went crazy.
It was, and obviously that kind of started everything. And then after that, Monster came out, Catch Me When I Fall came out, obviously the album came out. More touring came out. You started to tour with bands that we were talking about. You were hoping to maybe one day tour with. At that time when we talked on the interview, you had mentioned, well, never met Lizzie Hale yet. I've seen Maria Brink, but I'm trying to get her attention, but never had a chance to hang out with her. You've done all that now. What is that like?
Well, apparently I can predict the future. So,
exactly.
Let's see, who's the next bands that we should go out? No, so first off, the Hailstorm in This Moment tour was our very first arena tour, and oh my God, it was like a dream come true. And watching everybody perform, I learned so much. It was really cool to see like a split 50-50 male-female audience in a heavy music, amphitheater and stuff. So it was so cool. Let's see, who's next? I want to go out with Metallica.
Okay.
I want Pantera. I want to go out with Evanescence.
Okay.
Let's just name them all. Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
Bad Omens.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Motionless.
Bad Omens. All those. Absolutely. And you know what, Mixi? It might happen someday soon too. The way things are going with you. And I guess the reason I kind of bring up those questions from the past a little bit, I guess, is kind of how has that kind of built who you are today? Obviously, things change over the years, maybe direction of music and that. But I guess how has those early stages of you being a band together to today kind of developed you guys?
We've learned and grown so much, and there's always more room to grow. But, the more you write, the better you get, the more you find yourself and the sound that you really want to create. Because sometimes when you're first writing, you're just kind of throwing paint and hoping that it comes out well, but then you start to dial in exactly what you want, or you find things in the songs that you've written before that you could have improved and made the song even better. And so I think that our live performances definitely gotten a lot better, more controlled and professional, I guess, rather than just crazy kids, So that and the songwriting, yeah.
You had mentioned back then you were doing a lot of the driving of the tour bus and that at that time. Are you still doing that, or are you done doing that now?
Thank God we're not doing that anymore.
Okay.
It was like, band members, every one of us didn't like the way the other one drove, so we were backseat driving the whole time thinking we were going to die. We actually moved in our bus driver or our RV driver to our house so that he's always here when we need him. So, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, you've got a cool thing coming up here at the beginning of September. September 1st, you're going to be releasing your latest album, To the Wolves. And as we've been talking here about the past to the present, how big is this album for you that's going to break? Are you excited about this to finally get it out there for everybody to hear? Obviously, some people here on Rock Radio have heard a few songs already. I've had a chance to listen to the whole album, and I think people are going to be very surprised. But I guess, what is your thoughts, of this album that you're putting out coming up in September?
I'm so not excited at all about it.
Exactly, right?
It's every emotion you can think of, like it's all of your vulnerabilities and all of the art that you put your blood, sweat, and tears into. And then we've turned this in last Halloween, so it's been a year since it was all completed and done. And this whole year I've just been like, I want people to know, because they don't even know that this exists yet. And right now there's only 3 songs out, but there's 11 songs on the record, and there's definitely still a lot more for people to listen to that hopefully they'll like.
Did you do a lot of the writing of these songs during the pandemic? Is this kind of a pandemic album a little bit, or is this past that, I guess? I'm kind of curious on that.
Yeah, it's a little post-apocalyptic.
Okay.
So there's a few songs that are written in the pandemic. Actually, ironically, The End, which is the last song on the record, was the very first song we wrote. And you can hear in the lyrics that there was a lot of confusion as to what was going to happen with the world. And, we just like a lot of unknown. And then as we started writing more and more, I think I just wanted out. I needed out. I needed to get out. I needed to rock out. And I think that energy definitely shows in the music.
How did you guys fare during the pandemic, I guess, on the musical side of things? I mean, obviously it stopped everything. Some momentum of some bands that were really maybe taking off, and all of a sudden just boop, nothing again. I mean, how did it affect Stitched Up Heart?
Actually, we figured out how to pivot, and we hopped on Twitch, and every band member had their show on Twitch every night, 4 nights a week. So, I'd interview people like John Moyer from Disturbed. I had Chris Cale from Five Finger come on. I had Diamante, Ash Costello, all these Dorothy, all these amazing artists came and just I did what you do, and I interviewed them, and it was actually really cool to be on the other side and kind of research all about these people that I've been friends with that I didn't know all this stuff about. So we figured it out and made it through it, and I think we've become stronger from it,
So what you're saying is when you retire from doing music, you're going to be a DJ then, or a podcaster or something like that.
Who knows? But I made so many friends in radio. I'm like, hey, you guys need me to do an ad for you? I'm good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got the setup.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's crazy. And we're doing this over the phone, but now a lot of these interviews are done via Zoom, so you can actually see each other. And it's totally a crazy world, isn't it?
Yes, and I love that. I love being able to kind of sort of make eye contact. And, hey, you know what? You don't got to get up for that morning show at 6 a.m. and on the road.
Right.
Which is always a challenge, but we make it work.
Let's get back to the album. We're talking to Mixi, by the way, of Stitched Up Heart. They have a brand new album that's going to come out here on September 1st called To the Wolves. You have released 3 songs. To the Wolves, obviously, the title track. You also released Possess Me, which is a song we have been spinning here on 94Rocks. And then just recently, you just released Immortal. Talk a little bit about each of those songs, I guess, and kind of the meaning for you on those songs.
To the Wolves, I feel like it's a title track of the album. It's a really good segue from where we've been and kind of where we're going. And it was actually produced by Kevin Thrasher, who is the guitarist of Escape the Fate. He did Machine Gun Kelly's record. He works under Travis Barker. He's really kicking butt on the production side of things. And so did a couple songs with him. And then, we had Craig, the singer of Escape the Fate, that we're going out on tour with later, come out and sing. He did a feature. So that was really cool. And it's kind of about don't cross me or I'll come and get you.
Mm-hmm.
Possess Me is, it's kind of a seductive, intimate story of a demon incubus kind of character seducing me to the dark side and trying to pull me and lure me into this, I don't know, this darkness, this evilness, and but making it kind of sexy and kind of intriguing in that sense. And then you've got Immortal, which is completely different animal. It's heaviest. I know that people say this all the time. It is the heaviest song we've ever done. I love that song. It's probably my favorite on the record just because I got to scream my butt off, and I really have fun with that, you know. It's probably actually easier for me to scream than sing, to be honest, so I had a lot of fun with that one.
Well, I tell you, I listened to the whole album. I definitely Immortal. It was one of mine. I like The Hunting, though, actually, your third track on there. I thought that was kind of a cool beginning to it. And then I was really, the intensity of The Architect, number 9. That was heavy, too, I thought.
Yeah, those are two of them. There's so many great ones on this that those are definitely two of the tops. We did 4 music videos and couldn't decide because I wanted The Hunting in there, and that's one that actually everybody seems to be really I have got a really positive feedback on. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what that one does. If it takes a life of its own after this, if I can get another music video in there, it would definitely be The Hunting.
Well, I will say this album, tons of energy, and you're not holding back whatsoever, are you, on this album?
Oh, no. We just went for it. We did not care about anybody's opinion or anybody thought about it. Like, I think we were too worried the album before about, trying to please everyone. Everybody, wanted something different from us, and we wanted to make everyone happy. And this one was like, all right, let's just make ourselves happy, and let's just do what we want to do. And that involves a lot of screaming.
Yeah. You've gone through kind of the gamut of rock radio here, obviously, in the last 8 years. I guess, what's your take of rock radio? Obviously, Finally Free got on the radio for you. And you did very well, and some other songs did too. And you obviously did Lost with Sully from Godsmack. And, it seems like, I think, and I've been doing radio for 30 years, it seems like this genre, the active rock genre, the metal genre, is actually letting bands be what they want to be rather than the genre telling them what they want to be. Do you believe that?
Oh, absolutely. And when it comes to radio, it was a new world for us back the last time we spoke in 2015. And we met so many great people. There are so many great people in this, in the radio industry. Just really, really passionate music lovers that just want to do it for the love of music like we do as the musicians, Mm-hmm. So we've built a lot of relationships in that sense. And I do think that the listeners of active rock want something different. They've heard kind of the same thing for a little bit now, and I think that it's very apparent that they're showing what they want. And we have that also thanks to streaming, because you can see the numbers straight there, what they're listening to, what they're not. And I think that that's kind of one of the benefits in that, knowing, okay, people gravitate to this, maybe we should focus on this song a little more and put that to radio. And so, yes, it is really cool to watch bands like Bad Omens, who wouldn't usually be played on, on active rock, just be number one. And Sleep Token, I think that's a really awesome band that's kicking butt right now. And Spirit Box, and just so many great bands that are coming up right now. And I hope that we are part of that.
Well, you mentioned Bad Omens, and I'm going to bring this up. It's not a pat on the back kind of thing, but I had a chance to talk to Noah before Like a Villain came out. I heard the song, and I told him that song is going to be your first top 20 song. And it did. It got into the top 10, I think it was. So, and since then, they have taken off. And that is probably one of the bands, I think, that's kind of changing the format a lot. Would you agree on that?
100%. I feel like we're in a post-genre world. I keep saying this, that I think other genres are mixing together and allowing that. The listeners are allowing that because there's so much out there to listen to eclectically. You don't have to be fit into one thing, but yes, Bad Omens just took the world by storm. And the fact that that can happen in this day in heavy music, I feel like is just, I think it's a really good sign that heavy music's going to take over again.
Yeah. And when talking to him, he said he loved the cinematography thing. I think you kind of like that too, if I remember right, a little bit, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm a very visual person, so I have a lot to say in music videos, and when I'm writing, I'm actually picturing myself in that situation, like possess me. I was being possessed by a demon. Like I was, in the hunting, for example, I was out in the forest pretending I was like out for my prey, stalking like the hikers and creeping them out a little bit. And so, yeah, the cinematic stuff, like the background stuff, that's more of our guitar players. Sonically, he really likes doing like film composition and trailer music and stuff like that. So it definitely shows in our music as well. And I
Yeah.
don't know, I like that atmosphere.
That's awesome. And like I said, listening to your album from front to back, a great album. I think when it comes out here on September 1st, people are going to be excited about it. We'll chat about that in just a moment. I do want to go back to a couple of things, some fun questions from 8 years ago. So I asked you, is there a band that you thought I should maybe check out that I haven't heard of? And you had told me a band called City of the Week, okay, if you remember back then, because they're a Minnesota band.
Yeah.
Anyway, we actually then had them come up and play one of our shows a couple of years ago, later after that. So I want to say thanks for that, first of all, for reaching out on that. But what I guess I'm asking is, you've been in the industry for a while now. Is there a band out there that just hasn't maybe broken through yet, but needs that extra push, just kind of like I asked you 8 years ago?
Absolutely. This band Kaleido, Kaleeido, we're really good friends with them, and I don't know why they haven't, like, they need all the help they can get because they're so talented, and I'm rooting for them, and I want to support them as much as I possibly can. But that's definitely another band. City of the Week, I still talk to them, love them to death, and yeah, also really talented.
Yeah, Kaleido, I think I've got them here. I'm just looking up a song called Pretending they put out in 19, I believe.
Ooh, yes, their new song, Misery, is really emotional. Watch that music video.
All right, I'm going to do that. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. And I got to ask, since obviously right now everything seems to be a T-Swift world, are you still a T-Swift fan?
I'm always going to be. I feel like she's so talented, and to be able to go that far with your music career is so commendable and really inspiring. So 100%.
And then I got to ask, because you and I were going to do a cover. Do you remember? You don't. I know you don't remember this. But
I have the worst memory.
That's good. That's all right. So do I. That's why I have to listen to stuff that I do. The question was, is there a song that you'd like to cover sometime? You thought you would like to cover Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Stars as a metal song.
Of course I did.
Have you done that yet?
I haven't, but I need to get on it, and I'll send it over to you. Are you going to play it on your station?
I will definitely do that, and our 94 Rocks listeners would love to hear that, I think.
All right, I have to tell our guitarist to get on it.
Absolutely. Hey, Mixi, I know we got to get going here, but tell, I guess, our listeners out there, I guess, before we get into that, I know one thing you're really passionate about is animals. Let's talk about that for a second, and the things that you have done over the years to help out those young, friendly animals.
Yeah, I currently have 3 foster kittens in our downstairs bathroom at the moment. I am on I think they're number 95, 96, and 97 of all the kittens that I've fostered. And I'm super passionate because I learned how many of the bottle babies, the ones that can't eat on their own, like let's say somebody finds a bunch of kittens out in the park and mom might have went and got food, but they don't know, and they see these kittens, they want to help them, so they bring them to the animal shelter thinking, okay, the shelter will help them. But the shelters can't feed 5 kittens 2-3 times or every 2-3 hours, and so they try to find a rescue or somebody to pick them up, and if they don't, within the day they end up euthanizing them because they just don't have the resources to feed them, and they will die anyway. So I am very passionate about the little baby neonates, and as soon as I get them, from whether or not they still have an umbilical cord attached or 2 weeks old, it's kind of just the luck of the draw, and try to just get them big and strong so that they can be adopted and find their forever homes.
Well, that's an awesome thing that you do, and I know that's something that's near and dear to your heart, Mixi. So thanks for doing that.
Well, I can't stop, so you're welcome.
Exactly. Hey, more people want information about Stitched Up Heart, and of course, obviously, to get their hands on this new album coming out, To the Wolves. How can they do that?
Yeah, everything's on stitchedupheart.com. You can get a pre-order. You can get bundles. They're only exclusively for the pre-orders. All of our YouTube is under that as well, and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on TikTok. I don't know why, but I'm there. It's fun. So, yeah, stitchedupheart.com.
Mixi, it's been a lot of fun chatting, and let's do it before it's 8 years again, okay?
Yes, I said next week. We're going to do it a weekly thing. I'll be over there.
That sounds great. And then you can also send me the Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Stars, too. Sound good?
I could do it right now. We could do a death metal twinkle.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Mixi, good luck on the album and on the touring that, and hopefully we'll get a chance to meet in person sometime soon.
Yes, I need a real hug in real life.
Absolutely. That is Mixi once again. She's from Stitched Up Heart in Central Minnesota. Are you ready for this? First time heard here in Central Minnesota. We're going to play their new song, Immortal. You're hearing it right now. It's on The Dark. It's on 94 Rocks.